Narratives is having enough voices, enough inclusion talking about the same narrative.
How credible is it that a combination of our sanctions and our threats, our military threats, General, actually persuaded Kim Jong-un that he wants to sit down with President Obama?
Well, some combination of factors created.
Okay, so I don't know how I got turned back on, but... All right, so now I'm stoned. I can really bleed my heart on San Miguel. Okay, this is Jay Kimbal. He's our premier hot air balloonist. Came to town 25 years ago and exposed San Miguel to the adventures of hot air ballooning. So Jay, what brought you to San Miguel?
Well, I came here first in the early 50s with my mother. She had been a writer for the Hearst papers in the Bay Area, and she wrote a series of articles about the World War II military complex planning a war for profit. This was in '51. So she lost her position at the newspaper there, and we came here. And I can remember the main Hardin here, where most of the buildings were empty. I mean, the roofs had fallen and there were no doors and windows. I mean, that was in the early 50s. It wasn't until they really started building up the interior. Everybody lived out in the perimeter of town because the main town had basically been sacked during the Revolution and they'd never rebuilt it. So then in 1992, when my daughter, who was 18 years old, graduated from high school, I thought it'd be cool for us to throw a balloon in the back of the pickup truck and come down here and try and find her grandmother's grave. You know, I knew I'd left it here. She died here in '52, but I didn't know where, and those were buried memories. Well, all of a sudden I found myself back here after 40 years. This was 1992, and I'd realized that I'd just finished a complete circle in my life. I'd gone out into the world, and the second I came back here, I realized that this is where I left from on that journey. You know, I'd completed a full circle of my life. And I had these 3 beautiful kids that I'd raised up in California, and they were all up there going to school and growing up. And so I came here in '92, and I've been here for 25 years, and I've had 2 children since I've been here. One, she's now 13, and she has an older brother, Colby, who's 16. So I've been able to raise another family here in this town. And I watch my kids grow up and run through these streets, and I can see me and my sister, who lived here in the early 50s, running through. And I realized, what a connection it was for me to be back here, and it's just been an amazing place. So I brought ballooning, and I had a successful balloon company up in the Napa Valley, so I got one started here in about '92, and it's always done well. It seems to fit here. It has the same spirit as San Miguel. And I've been able to meet the coolest people I've ever met. This is the most incredible, eclectic group of, like this guy here who's presenting our case in point. You all know Dan Ruford. So I really don't have to go any farther than that. When I got here in '92, he had already been here like 16 years. And I thought to myself, oh. So anyway, we get off by the people we associate and get to know here. And within the first month, I had more friends here than I had in all the towns I'd lived at the rest of my life. It was just, that expatriate community where everybody starts to bond. And the balloon's done well, and here I am. Now it's it's not that century anymore. It's 2018. I just turned 70. I've been here now since I was 45. And, I really feel like I've watched it grow into this new millennium, and myself and my family. And that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. So the one thing I have to say is, everybody who comes here, but if they sit on the park bench long enough, they'll get that feeling. It's almost like an epiphany. And what that does is it brings you back. You'll go off into the real world and kind of check things out, and then you think about that epiphany sitting on that bench, and all of a sudden, you're back, San Miguel.
So when you got here, you met Paquina and Jaime Fernandez, who.
Yeah, they were like on one of my first balloon flights that I took. They came and flew, and I mean, they were so opening and welcoming. They actually gave me the keys to the Instituto and said, hey, that stuff's all your equipment, you should park it in the back. And so it became my first balloon court. I had all my balloons and trucks parked there at the Instituto. And that was now 25 years ago, and now look what happens. You look out there in the sky in the morning, you can see balloons floating everywhere. It's real.
Yeah, for the first 20 years, you were the only one.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, I was lucky to have it for that period of time. Now there's like 3 competitors, and what it is it's good to have competitors. That grows an industry. It creates balloon consciousness. Everywhere I started balloon companies, from the Napa Valley to San Diego to here in Mexico, you see that same pattern.
Yeah, you don't hear many people complain about the balloons.
You'd be surprised. One thing I've learned in ballooning is you shouldn't wake up people early in the morning. Some of them, they would go out, they want to get you coffee. The other guy next door is looking for a shotgun, It's
Okay, the girls.
So anyway, I guess this is a promotion video for San Miguel de Allende.
No, it's just so people, when you're dead and gone, you're 70 years old now. So that means you got here when you were like 42, 43, something like that?
45,
45? Yeah, a lot of your life been spent.
Well, they say
you met a lot of interesting people.
daily.
Besides, that's true,
Yeah, because of the balloon experience, I get to take them on this hour voyage early in the morning. And these extraordinary people show up here in San Miguel.
It's true. But so you're not flying right now. What are your plans here in the near future? You plan on sticking around San Miguel?
Yeah. Well, I have all these projects that I've been working on for quite a while, but they're the secondary projects that you kind of work on, and they evolve as you grow along. And I've always been into the sustainable movement. I actually put together a planned development community in California in '76. It was a self-contained community where we made our own energy and converted all of our waste into energy. But of course, I was along here at Hippie, and the city council, there was a bunch of old vets from the California Veterans Home. But that dream is what I want to pass on, sustainability. And you'll see that in this community around here, because we have limited water. And if it's properly managed, which it isn't, we wouldn't have a problem. But the lake's polluted, the Rio Laja is... it's just
hardly there.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what my plan is. We all have dreams and schemes. I actually want to leave the planet. I get to go up in the balloon every day now. I've been doing this for 40 years. So one of my dreams is to just keep going out. It's physically possible once you get enough momentum and inertia moving.
So
there you go.
You should talk to Elon Musk.
Yeah, no, I want to go up there and meet him. And show him that you don't need rocketry and explosion. When a rocket goes through the thermal climb, it blows a 50-foot hole in the ozone layer. 50-mile hole, excuse me. When it goes through, all that hydrogen eats up the ozone layer, and there's like a 50-mile hole every time a rocket goes up. It looks pretty cool down here in the thick atmosphere, but when it breaches the thermal climb where the ozone layer is, it's deadly, because it starts falling back down and eats like gasoline on styrofoam. Whereas if you go through the buoyancy as you go up, you can get enough inertia to get to. So, now where are we going to go?
So listen, you just got your balloon port back, and I know you were putting in sort of you entertained the idea of putting in a restaurant or something there.
Well, actually, I after our balloon flights, we put together a breakfast, a real beautiful breakfast. It's a continental type situation, but you can order your main dish. So you have all this great stuff. It'll be our balloon company in Napa is in a culinary world where they have foodies. These people who, they'll just throw money at food if you give them the right stuff. It's not, they got the money. So we're going to put together a really tight breakfast every morning, a continental breakfast that's set out. And when they come early in the morning, you get there just a little cup of cappuccino, because you don't want to, you're going to have to hold your bladder for an hour on a balloon ride. But when you get back, your table will be set. We'll have Sergio over in the corner playing the harp. Basically that atmosphere there where when they come back after the balloon ride, they sit down, the meal's already there waiting for them. We have our toast, our prayer, everybody eats their meal, we sell them their wares, and they're out of there by 9:30 back to their hotel.
A prayer?
Yeah, it goes, the winds have welcomed you with softness, the sun has blessed you with its warm hands. You've flown so high and so well that God joined you in laughter, sent you gently back in the loving arms of Mother Earth. And with that, I christen you. And at that point, you got them in a situation where you make them do anything. When I first saw it, we were out in Albuquerque back in the 70s, and they had like 50 people who had flown that morning at the fiesta. And they got them all on their knees and poured dirt in their hair mixed with champagne. I mean, you'd get a liability suit up your yang if you tried to pull that off today. But what we do in the Napa Valley is, a really great breakfast with a really high-grade champagne. We do have that toast, and
while we're here, this is not. How does somebody go about booking a flight?
just go online, Globo San Miguel. You can do self-scheduling. It's all computerized.
So you just go online to globosanmiguel.com?
Yeah, it's in there somewhere. There's like 3 balloon companies. 2 of them are Mexican, and ours is, an extension of what I've been doing here for the last 25 years. That's now legal. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the better one. I was a bandido, and everything was illegal.
Yeah, well,
those days are going away.
Yeah. The fun of bandidoism is going away too.
So how's your art been going, Dan? No, seriously.
Yeah, right.
I've noticed that you've been on the same exponential growth that I have been as far as my clients and flying on a daily basis. Your sales are, pretty impressive. You're not a starving artist like when I first met you.
So, back to Jay Kimbal.
No, come on, man. We've already been down that road. Well, this is the first film in an episode we're going to do. But it's everybody's journey. Everybody's got that one story, or in their life, it has the whole moral of why we're here. And everybody should have an opportunity to actually do that. And with this.
So you did find your mom then?
Yeah, she's in a cemetery over in Guanajuato. Apparently she passed in '52. We went over there to the Hall of Records. It happened to be on the Day of the Dead weekend. I swear you couldn't write this down. It was during the Cervantes Festival over there. And we got in there, and the Day of the Dead was on Sunday. And so we stayed for 4 days until the rectory was opened at dawn. We were down there at 8 o'clock on Monday morning. We went into this incredible Kafka ancient library, and we asked for the death certificates for 1952, and they pulled out this huge book, opened it up, and on each page is 4 death certificates written in longhand. And we photocopied my mother's death, and on it had the tombstone in the cemetery where she was located, on the very bottom right-hand corner of the death certificate.
How cool is that?
So we're all, fuck! who spoke perfect Spanish, you know, and was totally controlling the whole thing. They were scared of her, you know.
Who?
My sister, Joyce Ray.
She speaks Spanish? Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
perfect.
Oh, great.
So we took a photostatic copy of it, and she took it back to a Mexican-American doctor in LA that she knows. And he had diagnosed it as uterine cancer.
Oh.
You know, just from the symptom, or, you know, the amount of time, the information, which was something I would never have found out. Anyway, yeah, that was a moving moment, you know, to see I just left my sister, this one that...
Yeah. That's an interesting story, how you met your sister.
Yeah, that's one of the most extraordinary. I was just at my sister's house 2 days ago. I'm on my way back from a balloon event in North Thailand, and my sister lives in Beverly Hills, and I just stayed with her for like 3 days. And I didn't even know she existed. When I was 30, I found her on 60 Minute program, and she has the tape right there at her house. We had a dinner party with all of her best friends. I mean, all these ladies are in their mid-70s. You know, school roommates of hers from college. I know most of them because they always come traveling to either San Miguel or Del Mar or over the years whenever I went to see my sister. Anyway, she presents this tape, and all these people were in this room, and it's my sister, who's now 75. She was 32 at the time when she found out. 60 Minutes did a 20-minute segment. Maury Safer, they had just legalized the new laws for adoption, and she had found out who her mother and father were, so that's what this tape was about. So that's how I found my sister. She was put up for adoption in '44 during the war, and nobody even knew she ever came into the world. She was put up with a really great family, and when she grew up, she found out that she was adopted. And her quest led her to 60 Minutes, and she found me. I mean, the week after that, Maury Safer did one of those follow-ups in the last, you know, like 5 minutes of each one of the episodes. They go, oh yeah, and Miss Ray from our 2 months ago, I was reunited with her brother, and he did a little, I'd like to get that tape. I asked my sister after it was over, I go, did you get the follow-up one? She goes, no, maybe I can get it. But she wouldn't even let me copy it. But you could do it.
She wouldn't let you copy it? She's your sister.
I know, but she's on one of those things where... Oh, yeah. Okay, you guys. So we'll do this again. But I have a meeting, and I only promised 30 minutes.